Okay, this section is for the AQA students to look at the difference between strong and weak acids. So strong acids will be HCl, HNO3, and H2SO4. They are three strong acids. The carboxylic acids will all be weak acids. So what is the difference? Well, look at the diagram. You can see that the HCl that's shown here, and then these red ones are the water molecules, so oxygen with two H's. You can see how every single HCl has split into H plus and Cl minus. It has released all its H plus ions. Remember that an acid is a hydrogen ion donor. It releases H plus when put in water. So for example, HCl aqueous will turn into H plus aqueous plus Cl minus aqueous. It releases all its H plus ions. So we say it is fully ionized. Or you can say fully dissociated. Weak acids are partially ionized / dissociated. You can see that in the diagram. So the weak acid they've chosen is HX, just they use X for any weak acid. And as you can see, HX, 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 most of them stayed as HX. In fact, we only see really one H plus, one or two H pluses floating around. So that shows that only a small fraction of the ions are released. That's why weak acids will have a higher pH, and the color will be like yellow. Whereas the strong acids will be like red on the universal indicator, and they'll have a lower pH, because the pH is determined by how many H plus ions you release. So to represent this, let's pick HX. We use a reversible arrow to show that the reaction reverses itself. That's why it's not fully ionized. And then it forms H plus X minus. If we do that practically, let's pick ethanoic acid, vinegar. CH3COOH, aqueous, will dissociate partially to release CH3COO minus aqueous plus H plus aqueous. And that's all there is to it. Reversible arrows means it's partially ionized. The full arrow means it's fully ionized. There have been questions with little gaps where you have to fill this in. But the main thing is you understand that the weak acid has less H plus. So if they were to compare this to a rate of reaction practical, where you have two test tubes, one has the strong one has the weak acid, and they both are the same concentration, otherwise it wouldn't be a fair test. Same concentration, and you put the same mass of metal into each one, say magnesium, then the strong acid will have much more vigorous fizzing. Okay? You can be asked why, and you have to talk in terms of collision theory. The strong acid has more H plus ions, so a higher frequency, that's the magical word in rates, a higher frequency of successful collisions with the metal occur. So the rate is faster and more vigorous fizzing is observed. First thing, though, I should have actually said is why it's got more H plus ions. So I should have said that the strong acid has been fully ionized. So make sure you first say the strong acid is fully ionized and the weak acid is partially ionized. And therefore, the strong acid has more H plus ions. Obviously, it should be H superscript plus. Okay. That brings an end to the lesson of strong and weak acids, and I've even compared it to an actual experiment that you can get that relates to rates. So those kind of experiments require you to know what's kept constant, such as the concentration of both acids, the volume of both acids, and the only thing you're changing is the type of acid. You keep the metal mass and surface area the same. Okay, that is the end of that. So next, join me for the esters lesson. See you next time.